self-care is not selfish. It's actually the biggest part of showing love that you could offer to your family, your friends, and your community.
As women, we nurture and take care of the world. And so it's just so important to make your health, your self-care numero uno. So
get around people who are going where you want to go and who are where you want to be. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted to be in real estate, so I got around people who were doing things in real estate that I wanted to do.
So you might not be able to move things around or change what happened to you, but if you can change the way that you see it and how you're reacting to it, there's a way.
Just do what you have to do. There's no excuse. This morning, I knew that if I didn't get up at 4 a.m. and clear out my emails and do everything that I needed to do.
You don't want the government to dictate or a judge to dictate how your hard-earned sacrifice and wealth gets distributed to your family and your loved ones.
Our culture is embedded in American culture. There are people who come to America and engage in American culture, which is Black culture. So Juneteenth is really about Black culture, and it's about celebrating us, celebrating the different diasporas of Black people, even the dialects.
Smith Prudent Reed's Publishing is committed to solving the illiteracy rates and closing the poverty gap. This is why Smith Prudent Reed's Publishing is at the forefront of changing the culture and perspective that our youth, kids, and the next generation has, and how they view reading.
What separates Brooklyn Astronaut is that we encourage kids to think smart by seeking out mentorship so that they can reach their dreams and enjoy having a bright future. Brooklyn Astronaut is not just a book series, it's a movement to inspire the next generation to pursue their greatest dream big. So what are you waiting for? Simply scan the QR code and get involved in the movement and order your copy of Brooklyn Astronaut right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday with us for our Juneteenth Lunch and Learn. My name is Athenia Rodney. I am your CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC, and I am extremely excited to be with you on today. We have a great, I don't know, I say this every week, but we have a great interview in store on today. I am just relishing at the mouth because this one is about food, and I am so much I'm a lover of food. When I came, I went to her restaurant when I was in New York City. I went to her restaurant, and let me tell you, I did not want to go home. Okay. I was like, we were all of us were like licking the plate, like, like stuff you're not supposed to do at a restaurant. We was at home. Okay. When I tell you this. So I am very excited to have our speaker for today. But before we get into that, I am going to jump into a little bit of news on what in the world is going on in the world today. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about also is relative to our conversation with our speaker on today. Last week, we talked about tariffs and how those are affecting us. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper in a little bit of that. So we're going to show a video that reports the U.S. Supreme Court agrees to hear a fast track case on whether former President Trump legally had the authority to impose broad tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Power Act, which is the IEEPA. So this is, again, we're still going back and forth. And there's a lot of things that I think that I know we're going back and forth with, right? The president is trying to create this anarchy where he is controlling everything, and he has full reciprocity in what happens. And then we end up in these spaces. And again, we have to think about how is that affecting us. A lot of us are in this space like, oh, well, it's not affecting me right now. And it's like, yeah, it may not be affecting you right now, but don't wait until it does affect you. And that is my biggest thing. Do not wait until it affects you. You need to be in the know about what's happening and what's going on, because somewhere, somehow it is going to affect you. Even the people who voted for him are like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be this bad, or I didn't realize that these were the challenges that I would have. So there are continued things that are continuing to move on. So I think we have a video. If we can just bring that up, and then we'll jump into our interview for today.
A new developing story as the Supreme Court will soon hear, soon being November, whether the tariffs can remain in effect. And of course, this is reaching the highest court in the land, coming in here on social media saying the Supreme Court agrees to hear Trump's appeal in the tariffs case on a highly expedited basis. Oral arguments will be during the first week of November, and at Supreme Court pace, that is very, very fast, as they are granted an unusually quick hearing on President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, putting a policy at the center of his economic agenda squarely before the nation's highest court. The tariffs will remain in place in the lead up to the argument set for November, as the court agreed to take up the appeal from the Trump administration after a lower court found most of his tariffs were illegal. Small businesses and states challenged them, also agreed to the accelerated timetable. They say Trump's import taxes on goods from nearly every country in the world has nearly driven their businesses to bankruptcy. Two lower courts have agreed that Trump didn't have the power to impose tariffs on nearly every country on earth under his emergency powers law, though an appeals court left them in place for now. The Trump administration asked the justices to intervene quickly, arguing the law gives him the power to regulate imports. Striking down the tariffs would put the country, quote, on the brink of economic.
Okay, so in short, I just wanted to share the tariffs. They abstract a number of things. It causes over high costs in groceries, in clothing, and supplies that many Black families rely on in our community. Black-owned businesses are affected, already facing barriers of small capital gains, right? And now they have these tariffs that have additional capital gains. There are extra import costs, limited inventory, which causes the raise of prices. I mean, I do balloons. Balloons now the price of balloons have gone up. Just something so small like that. So just continuing to help you to understand, historically, when national economic shifts happen like this, like the Depression and the recessions, Black communities typically feel it the most, right? We experience deeper setbacks, slower recovery. So it takes us a longer time to get out of it. And we're the ones that usually experience more of it. So why does this matter to us here at Juneteenth? The message is economic liberation. It reminds us that what we do internally, how we operate, how we utilize our money, that we control that. We determine where our money gets spent each and every day. And so this is part of us having our own executive power and not continuing to give over our power to government. So I just want to, again, we're trying to bring in a little bit of education, because I know a lot of people, they may join us in this space. They may not be in the news and all of these other spaces on a regular basis, but this is something that we really want to make sure that we are understanding, so that we don't go backwards. We're not going back into a space of in poverty and in retraction. So with all of that said, we're going to talk a little bit more and see how some of these things are affecting businesses, like some of our local businesses in town. So today we have my friend Hollis Barclay. She is an accomplished entrepreneur and powerhouse CEO whose career spans hospitality, healthcare, staffing, and beyond. And when I tell you, like I said earlier, her food is thebomb.com. Okay, you have to go and check out her restaurant. So you're like, where is her restaurant? It's in Brooklyn. It is in the border of Bed-Stuy, right? In Williamsburg. It's called Bluefin Bar and Grill. Hollis has built more than a seafood restaurant. She is taking the world by storm. She raises the bar when it comes to excellence. Trust me. The space is nice. You go there, take some pictures. It is that. She has a dope vibe in the space. And that's really what you want sometimes, right? When you're going out to eat, you want to go to a space that's comfortable, that is intriguing, that is welcoming, and lastly but not least, it is worth your money. Okay, you're not just spending money and not and walking away like, I should have spent my money at McDonald's. No, you're definitely not going to walk away feeling that. You're going to be like, oh, okay, let me put in my calendar and figure out when I get paid again so I could come back. That's an experience you're going to have. So she's known for cultivating top tier service, training staff to deliver with care, and implementing strategies that boost sales by 98%. She is in some really dope spaces. She's doing some stuff over at the colleges. Let me see. She served in operations management for Care One staffing, managing multi-million-dollar contracts for New York City agencies like the MTA, Department of Corrections, and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. She also served as CEO of Hibiscus Health and Wellness Center, showing her ability to pivot industries while keeping people at the center of her work. So she is a multi trade master, and especially when it comes to customer service. So let's bring Hollis to the screen. Hello, hello, my dear. How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so very much for that great introduction.
You
You've
are
got you summed it all up.
absolutely, and I'm mad because I'm like I just sitting here talking about your food. I'm like, oh, I miss me some of what was that? The shrimp, the curry shrimp, and look. All right, I'm gonna start talking because I'm getting hungry.
Okay.
So, ma'am, so tell us a little bit about what inspired you. So, you were in another industry before you went into the restaurant industry. Tell us about how you got into being in the restaurant industry overall.
Okay, so my first experience as an entrepreneur was as a operating a day spa out of my brownstone in Bed-Stuy. And I realized that, black folks, we love to eat. All right. When I opened my day spa is it was a time when there was no real good care for black women in the spa industry.
Mm.
But then, you do a lot of education and it wasn't really working. And I saw that restaurants at the time were booming. And we love to shop, we love to eat, love to go to restaurants. And growing up in a traditional household in Guyana, I was surrounded by good food. I'm like, why not open a restaurant? At that time, my daughter at that time, she was, young, she was out there, she was an influencer. And that gave me the inspiration to open up a seafood restaurant, drawn up on my background from Guyana.
Okay. Now, Hollis, hold on. Let me pause because we want to see your face. We can't see your face. So there we go. You're gonna have to uh, uh, put up the camera some so we can see you. There we go. There we go. Now we can see you.
Okay.
All right. So you talked about you from Guyana. So you cooking before in Guyana or
You
what
know,
what is that?
the strange thing is I was not really cooking, but I was surrounded by aunts and grandmother who cooked. One of my aunt who passed away recently actually was a chef for the Guyana government in Jamaica, where I went to school as well. So I grew up under her shadow. And today I am now catering for the Guyana Consul General in New York. So I that has passed on or rubbed off on me.
Love it. Love it. So what has been your biggest challenge, would you say, with being a restaurant owner?
The biggest challenge today is the increase in food prices. You touched on that earlier in the segment, where you mentioned tariff. It is slowly killing our restaurants.
Yeah.
High prices. And the thing is, you have to either observe those costs or you pass it on to the consumer. Well, even though we are all consumers, everyone is a consumer. Most people don't understand that, or they feign ignorance. Well, why am I
Mm,
paying so much for, wings? Or why am I paying so much for whatever it is? But at the same time, we're all consumers, right? And we know that as we go into the supermarket, the cost of food is very, very expensive.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
one of those is increasing in cost in prices. The
Mm.
second thing that's a big challenge in the industry is finding um reliable employees or
Oh,
finding good help. That is a
come on now.
major, major cause.
Come on
Major
now. We're
problem.
gonna talk about that.
Finding and retaining employees. As an owner, I mean, coupled with the rising cost of food, employee shortage, it creates a huge problem in
Mhm,
the restaurant industry. And this
mhm,
has happened since the advent of COVID-19.
mm.
Finding and retaining employees or good quality employees.
Yeah. What have you found to be why do you think that happened? Like why do you think COVID kind of reduced the good quality or the quality of the employees that we're able to hire?
I think one of the reason is people rely more and more on, I want to say, I might be wrong, but on government support. I know during COVID, then you don't have to work, or well, let me take a step back from that. Because of today's um social media, people, young folks, are finding different ways of making money. I have a
Mm,
19-year-old son, and I'm telling you, uh I'm encouraging him to go back to college, but he's saying, "Ma, I don't need to go to college. I can create this different industry, I can create this whatever." So they're finding ways in which to use the internet to make money. So they
mm,
no longer want to work for a traditional company as a restaurant, or, you know, driving a bus or whatever it is. They're finding ways from Main Street in making their monies.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, technology definitely, I think, boomed during COVID because we went from, oh, everything has to be in person to everything has to be virtual, which forced people to, I mean, it was funny because during that time I was trying to figure out how was I going to move. I was like, I want to leave New York and I need to be able to push my business online. I'm like, people are so resistant to change and it's going to take time. And then COVID happened, and it was like everybody was forced to be online for everything.
Exactly. And thanks to AI as well. Oh my God. It's a whole new
Absolutely.
industry out there.
Absolutely. All of these things working in one space. So when it comes to and I know that there is a small margin for profit, especially in restaurants because of waste and turnover of food, things like that. And now you're saying with these high with these tariffs raising the price, what would you say are some strategies that you
Go ahead.
found to be effective to help you maintain profitability despite the rising costs?
Could you repeat the last question, Athena?
Yeah, sure. I said during because with everything happening with all of the rising costs, what have you found as a good strategy to be able to maintain profit?
So unfortunately, as an owner, we've had to use less costly ingredients in making
Mm,
food now. So we have to reduce look at where we spend, stop using imported items and go more locally, which is not a bad thing, right? Go to more local produce as opposed to imported products. We specialize in seafood, so we get in our stuff from over international, and that is costly. Now
mm,
we have to go to local salmon, for example, and that kind of stuff. So
mm.
reducing our purchase on imported items so
Got
that
it.
we can stay above, you know, above board now.
Good board. Yeah, definitely. So now I know you have your restaurant and you have some other things that you have down coming down the line as well. Do you want to talk about some of those things that you're working on?
So again, being an owner or being in this industry in this economic climate, You have to learn how to pivot,
Mhm.
how to increase different revenue streams, right?
Mhm.
Um, one things we'll be doing this fall is to do online cooking classes
Mm.
on YouTube. We'll have a channel where we will do online cooking classes. Um, I'm grateful to be at Mega Evans College where I'm the food service director.
Nice.
And so that's a different stream of income for me being over here. Um, yeah, so those are two things that I'm actually working on right now. In addition, I'm coming with a line of sauces from Guyana.
Uh-oh, what kind of sauces we talking
So
now?
so this is it's a mayo, a spicy mayo, but it's flavored. Are you seeing me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not moving around quite a lot here. So this is a spicy mayo, but it's using authentic ingredients from Guyana. Hence making it different from the regular mayo, spicy mayo that you will see in a regular supermarket. This is gonna be kind of costly, but I try to be authentic when it comes to producing my food, whether it be my
Mhm.
restaurant or even in producing this particular sauce. I try to be as authentic as possible.
Mhm. I love it. So you got people saying, "Come on with the sauces, sis." Yes, pivot and
Yeah,
scale.
you have to pivot. You have to learn to pivot.
So when you pivoted from the health spa and now you're in the food industry, is this like the last stage for you? Are you looking to pivot again into something else after this?
Well, long term, I'm looking to get into the airport. So a few months back, I was part of a cohort of small businesses that was
Mhm.
trained to operate at GFK, and that
Mm.
would be a long term goal for me, right? So that's one of the things. That's like another 6 months to a year of getting into GFK Airport.
Oh, nice. I look forward when I could just come off the plane and go stop by and get me some food and not have to.
Some real authentic Caribbean food, inspired food. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, do you know if there are any Caribbean restaurants currently in the airports?
Um, I think there might be one right now in the airport.
Hmm.
Um, but no, we're up for the challenge of being another one in at GFK
Okay.
Airport. So
Okay.
oh
It's not at
yes,
JFK. You're gonna try to go to LaGuardia as well.
GFK for now because we're working with the GFK, the management team at GFK and their partners to get small businesses right now into airport into believe is Terminal One.
Terminals. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. So I know you were talking earlier about getting good help, getting good staff. Talk to us about your customer service and background and how that has helped you to shape some of the staff that you have now.
Okay, so I'm a firm believer in excellent customer service.
Mhm.
And it might be one of my weaknesses because if I'm in a restaurant, if I'm in a restaurant,
Mhm.
you will get the best possible hospitality from my restaurant, right? And this comes from my background, working in corporate America. So I train my employees to give the best service at all times.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so what is that what does this training look like? So if it was a young person that's listening, and we have a lot of young people who will typically listen in from time to time, and we have other business owners, people who may be caterers who are looking at going into um the um the field of having their own establishments or brick and mortar space. What are some things that you would say maybe the top three that they should focus on when it comes to making sure your establishment has good customer service?
So I would say that young people need to learn how to get out their phones, right? It can be very distracting. Even here in the cafe, I see the kids are on the phone when they have customer. And I tell my staff, customer tips you on good service, not on the food. Let me worry about the food, the quality of the food, or even the presentation of food. Make sure that you give that customer the attention that they need, not to be overly on them, but you have to give good customer service. I personally do not like to see an empty glass or a dirty table or a dirty dish on my table. It's my biggest pet peeve. Biggest pet peeve. So when I have a new employee in my at my restaurant, I drive that those points home.
Like that.
Introduce yourself by give your name to the customer. Introduce yourself and pay attention to that customer, because
Mm.
tipping is based upon service, not upon the quality of food that's produced in the body. Let me worry about the quality of food that's being produced. That's
Yeah.
my concern. But your concern now is to give that good service.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. For me, definitely keeping the table clean. I find myself sometimes I'll be at the table and I'm putting all of the plates together myself and scraping out the plates and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm pushing everything together, and I'm like, this is my tip. Like,
Exactly,
I'm
exactly,
doing your work.
exactly.
I'm doing the stuff that you should be doing. My table is cluttered. If I want to take a picture, it doesn't look good. And I think again that especially living in a world right now where everything is digital, people want to be in a space where we want to take a picture of everything. It's like, what does that presentation look like, right? How are you able to present yourself and have things? So like you said, you take care of the food and you do a great job with the food. Like I
Thank
said,
you, thank you.
hands down, I don't have any problem with the food that I've tasted so far that is in any of your establishments. But yeah, customer service, right? Pushing people to go be above and beyond. I always say, 5-star to me is you thinking before I can think of the issue. So my favorite, my favorite movie, Coming to America, at the end where he's like, oh, he got the soup and he's like, oh, you want taste the soup? And he's like, no, I don't want any soup. He's like, no, I want you to taste the soup. He's like, no, I don't want any soup. He's like, I just need you to taste the soup. He's like, okay, fine, I'll taste the soup. And he's like, where's the spoon? He's like,
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, even I'm in a space here at McGarvis College, and um, we have a growing clientele here among the both faculty and students. And because I'm training my staff to give good, even in this space here, where it's a casual environment, right? To give good customer service. I point out to the students, the different professors. It's like, you have to give good service. It's important.
Absolutely.
Very
What is
important.
so are you doing training with the students there as well? Or like, do you have internships or anything that you're doing with the young people who might be interested in going into catering business?
So we are offering internship here at Medgar Evers College. As the semester, this is my third week into the semester. This is my third week in the semester. But as we go more deeper into the semester, we'll bring on, we'll have a chef series once a month. Do pop up food, pop tasting at the college, bringing different restaurants from different ethnicity, trying to inspire our students to learn more about culturally different foods
Like that.
and not only Caribbean food.
I like that. I like that. Although I would say, that definitely leads the way. We have somebody that says, I love the idea of excellent customer service, and training is a big buzzword that has fell by the wayside. So what are your thoughts around so I know you said you do training, like so do you do everything hands on? Do you have a standard operation procedures that you utilize and you have others to implement? So how do you do that? Because you're one person, right? And how do you have people in multiple spaces?
Great question. So, for example, I have three new students who are working for me this week, and one of the young lady is magnificent. She's amazing at her job, right? I said, do me a favor, start an SOP for me. because she came this morning. As soon as I hear the doors, I smell the coffee. I said, I want you to write down step by step for your fellow staff members how you open this cafe today. Start an SOP. So I'm teaching her how to do an SOP, right? Because she did such a good job without me being here at 8 a.m. So yes, so she's right now doing an SOP, learning as she's learning as she's working. If that makes
Mhm.
sense. Do you make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely. I say a
Yeah.
lot of the time we do a lot of building the plane while we're flying it, especially in the Black community, right? Because we don't always have the luxury to do extensive training or to do extensive practice beforehand. Because a lot of times we're like, we have to make money, we have to help our family, and we have to contribute to the household. And especially in New York City, if you don't have multiple people in a household contributing, that you can barely afford to live in a one bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
So, you know, that challenge is real. And so, how do you offer those without? How do you offer one without the other? Um, I'm curious because we have been talking a lot, and especially as we're going into October, about health and our wellness. How do you maintain being grounded? And that's my thing. My earrings say grounded, like I got the tree, the roots. Like, how do you maintain being grounded?
So for me, it's leaning on my family tradition, right? Spirituality. Remind myself that what I'm going through right now is just temporary, but dwell on my faith. As a Christian woman, um, I pray every day.
Hmm.
The first thing I do, I say a prayer in the morning to help me get through to deal with what I have to deal with that day. So I just dwell on my spirituality from my childhood, dwell up on my family tradition, and lean on my family a lot for support. It helps you a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do the same prayer and journaling, like helping to keep me steady and focused on the day ahead, especially when you are a leader like yourself. So talk to us about what being a leader in this industry is for you. What is a leader in the restaurant industry?
Setting the standards,
Mhm.
raising the bar for your restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, being as transparent and be ethical at all times.
I like
As a
that.
leader, being able to communicate your vision to your audience, to your target market.
Mhm.
Yes, those are some of the things that make you a great leader in this industry.
Yeah, I love that you said that authenticity and transparency and just being it's like, hey, this is what I am, this is how things are. I'm just telling you like it is. No shade on anyone else. This is how I operate. So I love that you said it, and it's seen in all of the spaces in which you are, and especially when you're working with customers and working with staff, because once they feel like you're transparent, they're gonna feel comfortable enough to do the same. So a couple of more questions I have for you. Our time already is coming towards the end. So, what does long-term resilience look like for you? What do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
Long-term resiliency for me will be again opening a restaurant in at JFK Airport or any of the or any airports, right? Because once you're in one space, you can be in any other space in the entire country, and I've learned that. So for long-term resiliency for me will be being able to open another establishment in an airport and surviving this economic downturn right now.
Yeah. How have you, I guess, experienced um, so one of the things that I've been working with individuals on, especially business owners, is the idea of collaboration. Are there opportunities to be able to collaborate with other restaurants that might alleviate some of the pressures that the tariffs are bringing in?
Great question. As I mentioned, I'm currently I work with Mega Evers as a food service director. I have three different space within Mega Evers. I have two cafes and a cafeteria. And I've decided to subcontract out the cafeteria to um, two business partners of mine. All right.
Mm,
So they will be operating the cafeteria for me while I focus on my cafe and my restaurant and focus on other opportunities because I'm also a contractor. So I look for opportunities, food service opportunities all over. I've done catering for different military installation across the country. I do catering for just about every different industry you can think of. So
mhm,
by me subcontracting part of this contract out to you know to a different company, it allows me to focus on other bigger on a big picture item then.
mhm. I love that. Okay. So I love the fact that you are in a space where you're not hoarding, right? You're not like, oh, this is just for me. I have the opportunity and I'm not going to let other people eat. You are bringing in other businesses. And again, like community is really where it's at and how we continue to grow and how you continue to remain sane, right? Because you saying you managing all of these different spaces, that is overwhelming in itself and trying
It
to
can be.
each area has its own I'm sure thoughts and issues and concerns and frustrations and things in those spaces. So we have a couple of comments. So we have Mr. Black Chinaman. Airport restaurant is a big deal. Might have to add that to my goal list. Thanks, Hollis. This topic is displaying cultural integrity across a tough industry. Thank you for bringing in the good, authentic food. Ready to try those sauces for sure. So it sounds like you're gonna have to figure out ways to also transport them. Now, I remember talking to you before. Don't we have a book or something that's in lieu to come out?
Actually, the book is completed 100%. I just need to publish the book. And because of me doing so much with the college and the restaurant, I have not been able to get it into the hands of the public as yet. So I'm hoping by and thank you, Atina, for the introduction to Mr. Chin. Mr. Chin,
Absolutely.
thank you for the introduction. He will be able to relieve me of some of those responsibilities. So again, I can focus on other things and build my brand. And building my brand is also producing my book as soon as possible.
Okay, well, we're still here, ready and waiting to support with that book launch and to get that out and about. And I'm glad that the partnership and having Mr. Chen come and meet with you. He told me that he had a great conversation. And again, this is just part of the partnership and network and community. Being able to putting yourself out there, asking for what you need, sharing what your like you said, the transparency, sharing what your flaws, sharing what your issues are, because someone might be able to fill that issue when it comes. And I know when we first started, you was like, I need help, Athenia, I need help. And I was like, I'm not gonna send no money
Absolutely.
that I don't believe in. So I'm glad that
Absolutely.
that worked out.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to hearing what the two of you all are able to make together for sure.
I look forward to working with him. And as owners, we have to learn because we all suffer the same thing as black owners in the industry, right? We have to learn to work together and trust each other.
Yeah,
Um, yes. That's a big thing. A big thing is trust in our industry, and we don't have that.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm interested to see how this, because he has a southern twang to his food, and which is amazing too. And you're with the Caribbean twang. So I'm like, again, I'm looking forward to see how all of this comes together and meshes. So looking forward to that for sure. So anything else that you have coming up that the community should know about that you would love to share?
No, just that we plan to Mr. Chin and I plan to do some online courses, food cooking classes as soon as possible in the near future, so they can be on the lookout for that. I'm also looking to get into get into the schools, local schools in my area, by doing catering opportunities for those schools, um, and possibly doing some cooking demonstrations for those kids as well in the local schools in our area. So I look forward to visiting, being on board. Some of the work will not be paid financially, but it will eventually pay off, being recognized on a bigger stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Hollis. It was a pleasure having you on in this space, in our space, and we thank you for being a host for us for Juneteenth and continuing to love on us and love on our Black Kings the way you have by being a sponsor for that event as well. So you are 100% a person who lives by her word, and I appreciate and I thank you for that. And like you shared, it doesn't always come in the dollars and cents right away, but it will come back to you tenfold. So thank you
Yeah,
so much for that.
exactly. You're so welcome, Athena. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to put you backstage while I close this out for today, and I'll jump in to talk to you afterwards. I'll be right here. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you got something out of that experience. I know I did. Just being able to connect the dots and see how our families, our organizations, how we are continuing to be a community that helps each other to thrive, and not competition, but collaboration. That is the way forward. When we work together, we can continue to grow as a community, and we can overcome a lot of these challenges that we are starting to experience. It is I'd say that there's no mistake that everything is happening the way that it is, but we do need to take note of it, and we need to be very present to what's happening around us, because we are in a space where we're running behind the eight ball, and we really, really need to be in front of it, y'all. So I pray that you all are well. I thank you again for continuing to be with us. Thank you, Hollis, for your strength, your wisdom, and example of what a leadership is, what good customer service is all about, and how to achieve it. God bless everyone. Have a great one, and happy Thursday. Bye.
In truth,